A word of warning to all young women. I married my high school sweetheart. When we were together at first, age 17, he was so wonderful, funny, smart, sweet. For my first Christmas present, he got me a new stereo system for my messy, '98 Pontiac Sunfire. We lost our virginities to each other. We were a year apart in high school, so I did community college to stick near him until he graduated. Note: don't do this for a guy, but it's actually a great idea. Knock out your intro courses for cheaper, then transfer. I went to the college he chose. Once we got there, he was the only one of his friend group, who also went to the same college from high school, who had a girlfriend. I immediately got left by the wayside. I had no friends. I tried to make some. I realized, but not enough, that my whole identity was wrapped up in my boyfriend. By the way, the gifts stopped being thoughtful. Then they became non-existent. He went out with his friend group and left me alone. When I cried to him in my dorm about how I felt alone, and maybe we should break up, he started crying too and said that wasn't what he wanted.
While I was on my knees with tears on my face crying about how alone I felt, he asked me if I'd give him a blowjob.
I did. I was young and stupid and we didn't break up. Fast forward through college. I started to notice that at every party we went to, he was always more animated and having more fun with anyone as long as I wasn't there.
Once, he gave a girl a piggyback ride right in front of me because she asked him to.
When I spoke up about how I felt sidelined and neglected, I was told I was crazy. This would become the battle cry every time we fought. I didn't know what gaslighting was then, but I do now. One of the clearest memories I have of him was just before I graduated college.
He asked if I had studied Flash, and I said no because it was on its way out and no one was using it anymore.
I remember it was the day of the Super Bowl and our roommates were out.
We had been watching the Puppy Bowl just before this conversation.
We got into an argument. He tried to tell me I was wrong and I just said I knew more about the subject than he did. He wrapped his hands around my throat and pushed me back on the bed. He choked me. When I started gasping and crying, he let me go. And he had the nerve to say, "God damn it, original poster. Why did you make me do that?" I should have left right then. After college, he didn't have a job. He decided to go to graduate school. He said I'd need to support him, otherwise he'd have to pull from his inheritance.
I had a full-time job in a recession in my field, which was rare.
So I supported him that way, and when funds ran low, I took out payday loans. At his insistence. I got him a job at my agency. He got laid off a month before our wedding. We had been together 10 years. He bought me a ring through a client so he got a big discount. I worked through that, we got married, then I found another place to work since I was mad the agency had laid him off. Meanwhile, still no job for him. I once asked if he'd just get a job at Walmart or Target or something, just to take some pressure off me, and he said, "I guess I'll just have to deal with the depression when people I know see me working there." I didn't make him get a job. Eventually, I had enough and said let's move from our college town back to the big city where we were both from. Our friends and family were there, he would have more opportunities. I wasn't worried about myself, I had a good resume. He balked. I said, "You know what? I pay the rent here, I'm not renewing our lease. I'm moving back to city, and you can come with me if you want." He started applying to jobs. Right away, he got one, making twice what he made before.
Everything was great.
Right? Wrong. I negotiated my contract to work from home, then when that didn't work switched over to another job. Still working from home once we'd moved, making decent money. But as soon as he had his real job he changed. Started spending exorbitant amounts on new glasses, clothes, shoes. Started working out. You know where this is going. There was one more incident of violence. We were arguing about something I can't recall.
I said I was just going to go to sleep and turned my back on him, ready to get into bed.
He shoved me, hard, from behind. I landed on my hands and knees and started crying. He said, verbatim, "You're fine. Stop crying like someone's going to feel sorry for you." Long story short, too late, he ended up cheating on me with a coworker. His assistant, as if that couldn't get more cliché. We even went to her wedding, for God's sake. He tried to tell me there was no one else, we'd just grown apart. Now, the thing is, that's true. That's part of the warning. You change so much between ages 17 and 30. Some people can make it work, but some can't. His motivations weren't based on our changes, however.
He already had a new model lined up, 5 years younger than me.
No matter. I honestly don't miss him, and I'm glad he's gone, even though it hurt so much at the start. But aside from the emotional scars, he left me with so much more. If I hadn't been with him for so long, I would have moved to Florida. It was always my dream, not so much these days. I wouldn't have destroyed my credit with those stupid payday loans, which I don't take out anymore. I wouldn't have wasted my prime years where he told me he wanted to have babies with me, then only to back up right before the clock started ticking. Young women, please, value yourselves more than I did.
Know and realize when things are bad. Get out when the getting's good, or hold on to the good man that you have.
Do better than I did. My ex and I agreed we'd lie about why we broke up, and I regret it so much. My ex, Mike, and I met through our mutual friends.
It took us close to a year to start dating, and then we were together for 4 years.
In that time, he cheated on me several times. I stupidly forgave him and kept believing he'd change. Eventually, I found out that he had a consistent fuck buddy for an entire year. I was done and dumped him.
The thing is, we have the same friends.
Our group hangs out together often.
Game nights, vacations, group dinners, etc.
I never told them that Mike cheated the other times. He begged me to keep the secret. Said we should tell them we wanted different things out of life.
I wanted to say no, expose him for the idiot he was.
But he started crying and I just gave in. It's been 6 months and it's killing me. I dread hangouts when I know he'll be there. I can't skip them because he's pretty much always around and I don't want to lose my other friends.
They all think and speak so highly of him. I just want to scream, he's a cheater. He broke me. It's all fake. And yet, I can't.
By this point, I'd look petty and they'd all wonder why I kept it a secret.
I have 2 choices. Continue to suck it up or walk away from the friends I've had for over a decade.